In a down market where sales are incredibly hard to come by, where home sellers are fighting tooth and nail against other home sellers in their community to capture the attention of a home buyer, the home that you buy matters. These sellers all made the decision to buy their particular home whenever they did, and there's certain features of homes that make them really difficult to sell when the market becomes difficult. We're not talking about the basic stuff that you should do when you sell a home, like clean it really well or make sure all of your stuff is put away. I'm talking about characteristics that usually are not easy to change. If you're someone that's considering selling your home, you want to watch this video because you want to be prepared to overcome these objections when your home comes to the market. If you're someone that's looking to buy a home, you're going to want to really consider some of these items that I bring up in this video because one day you'll have to sell that house as well, and these are things that could impact your ability to sell your property. You're going to come out of this knowing exactly what I hear home buyers say all the time about properties and the challenges that they may experience with them if they're considering buying them. So if that sounds good, let's jump into it. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Germyn from the Germyn Group, a real estate team in Surrey, BC. And hey, I'm about to give you some incredible content that is going to help you in your real estate endeavors. And if you want to say thank you, all I ask is that you consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Not only will that let us know to keep doing videos like this that are helping you, but it'll also help make sure that you know exactly when more great content is released. So go ahead, subscribe. I'll wait. Did you do it? Okay, you get the point. Let's get going. When sales are sparse, it can be incredibly difficult for a home seller to sell their home. And this is because buyers have the pick of the litter. There is so many homes that are available that are usually relatively similar to each other in a marketplace. And of course, they want to be the home that sells. They don't want to be the home that sits on the market. Interestingly enough, when people buy a home, we all have a budget, of course. If we didn't, we would all have 3 acres down on White Rock Beach and be living in a brand new house. What I find in our travels with home buyers is, of course, because they have a budget, they want the absolute best for their money. So they try to buy in the very, very upper echelon of what they can afford. However, they're usually getting into the bottom or lower level of the style of home that they've really been wanting or have been seeking out. This means oftentimes they make concessions about the things that they want or get in the home that they choose. The goal of this video is to make sure that these things don't come back to haunt you if you find yourself selling a home in a slower market. You know, I went to go see a condominium once in the Guildford neighborhood of Surrey. And this girl had bought directly from the developer. She didn't bring a real estate professional into the deal with her, which is obviously a big no-no to begin with. But she bought this unit and I hadn't seen it. She called me on the phone and was really interested in having me and my team come over and take a look at this property to be able to sell it. So I pulled up and was excited to go meet this young lady and go take a look at her property. And as I'm touring this condominium, it was really quite nice. She had done a really great job taking care of it. It was beautiful inside. Everything was put together and she could have gone on the market almost right away. The problem came when I went out to go take a look at her balcony. And her balcony was on the second level of this particular building, facing north in Guildford. And the reason why that's important is because it was facing north, looking into the Mirage nightclub parking lot. Now, the market was quite slow at this time. This was a few years ago. And can you imagine trying to sell a home that backs onto the parking lot of a nightclub? Clearly, that is going to be incredibly difficult. And of course, the reason is it's going to be incredibly difficult is because a home buyer has a choice of any other side of that building or any other condominium in the area. So the first one you're going to want to consider is location. And you've probably heard the real estate mantra, location, location, location. We coach all of our home buyers to pick the absolute best location that they can get for their money. Things to consider when you're picking the location of the property that you want to buy are things like, is it on a busy road? Perhaps that road is going to get even busier in the future, and maybe there's even a truck route along that road, all things that you want to consider. You're also going to want to know if there's any significant construction that's going to be coming up in the area, what type of traffic you can expect in the neighborhood due to that new construction or added density. You generally just want to research the location so you know exactly what type of infrastructure is going to be coming into that community in the future. Before I let you know the second one on the list, I'm going to share another story with you about this basement suite that I checked out in the Sullivan neighborhood of Surrey. What was interesting about this basement suite is it was relatively nicely put together. It has nice windows. It was, relatively bright inside. However, when you walked up to the kitchen, if you looked directly down the kitchen, it was a galley style kitchen. Right at the back of the kitchen was a door, and the door was actually open when we were there with our clients taking a look at it. And right smack in the middle of the door was a toilet. So whoever built this suite decided that the toilet would fit best right in line in the middle of the door, with the vanity off to one side and a bathtub on the other. Here's the problem. Who is going to buy a house where you can see the toilet while you're making dinner or sitting with your family and eating? Probably nobody, right? So this was a basement suite. However, anybody coming into this property is going to be looking at that and considering why anybody would even want to rent down there, which is going to take away from their overall experience of the remainder of the house. This means that number 2 on our list is awkward layouts. This can include a lot of things. Sometimes you see a home that is completely custom, but not in a good way. It was done very specifically to the owner who originally owned it. An example of this might be something as simple as it was converted for somebody that maybe was using a wheelchair. Perhaps the countertops have been lowered. Perhaps there's ramps instead of stairs everywhere. Well, the average person isn't going to use those facilities, so therefore it makes it a little off for them to be able to really enjoy for their own personal use. This also goes hand in hand with really old designs. Like a condominium as an example that's 800 square feet might feel bigger because of the open layout and concept to it than an older one that is maybe almost 1,000 square feet. Not only do old designs have an impact, but also really the colors that people choose. So often I go into people's homes to go list them for sale, and they've got all these incredibly crazy, bright, personalized colors all over the walls, which may look amazing. However, that really makes it more of a home for them and less of a home for somebody else. Awkward layouts also go towards small rooms. Bedrooms are typically a big talking point, especially for young families that have children. And under that umbrella also includes really poor lighting. So homes that don't have good natural lighting tend to be a little bit harder to sell because, well, nobody wants to live in the dark. The third on our list is something that surprises me every time. I really wish that when people bought a home, there was some sort of guidebook that came along with that home that taught people how to take care of it. And there's not. It blows me away how many people don't really know how to properly take care of a house. So poorly maintained houses are really, really difficult to sell. This can include things like anything that's really hard lived in. I mean, the place is just generally kind of beat up. Maybe there's stains all over the carpets or there's chunks out of the walls. This doesn't just end on the inside of the house, but also the outside of the house as well. Perhaps the grass is overgrown, the bushes are overgrown. It's just got absolute terrible curb appeal. That's the first impression a home buyer has when they pull up to a property, and if it doesn't look good, they're not going to get a good feeling going into it. It's also worth mentioning that anything that involves a significant expense to repair that's maybe overly glaringly needing to be done right away. Maybe that's the roof or the windows or a hot water tank, anything like that. And if you're somebody that's considering buying into a strata property, you're also going to want to consider the actual finances of the building. Do they have a strong contingency fund? Are they proactive in repairing things? Are the strata fees actually adequate to fund any issues that the building is likely going to experience in the short and medium term? Now that we've got the 3 big ones out of the way, I want to give you some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is inadequate parking. Look, we all love the idea of leaving the cars at home, but we're not quite there as a community yet. This means if you're considering maybe a condominium that has more bedrooms than it does parking spots, or maybe sometimes no parking spots at all, you want to seriously consider whether you should try getting an additional parking spot or maybe just choosing a condominium that offers something more. Oftentimes we see townhomes with parts of the garage finished taking away from the parking of the unit itself, or we also see detached homes that just have 0 parking available. A great example of these would be some of the coach homes in Cloverdale, where you effectively have 3 dwellings per property and only a double garage and a parking pad. This makes this community incredibly difficult to park in. So if you've got 3 families living in one home and nowhere to park, that can be a really tough sell. The last honorable mention is anything that's actively broken or really needing repair. This could include massive stains on the carpets, or just generally anything in the home that is broken and is clearly needing to be replaced. That's something you really want to consider to do before you put your home up for sale. Now that you have the list of things to consider when you're buying your home, I'd love you to do two things for me. Number one, I'd love you to comment below and let me know if I missed anything. Help everybody else watching this video by letting them know things that they could consider or should consider when they're buying a home to make sure that at least they're prepared for when they're selling it. And the second thing is just keep in mind, there is a link below in the description if you'd like to speak with me and my team about anything to do with buying or selling your home in the Surrey or surrounding areas. You can book a time directly into our calendar by using the link below in the description. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and since you subscribed, I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.